In this lesson, we will configure our Spring Tool Suite project to use the Spring MVC framework. In order to use the Spring MVC framework, we must download its associated libraries. We're going to use Maven to help us resolve those dependencies within our project. The first thing we're going to do is go to our pom.xml file, and we'll open it up and we'll see that within STS we are presented with an editor here, and at the bottom of this editor are several tabs. We would like to click on the Dependencies tab. We will use this tab to control which dependencies are included in our project. For Spring MVC, we need to add a Spring Web MVC dependency. We're going to enter the group ID to locate this dependency. So I'm just going to type org.springframework because that's where all of the official Spring artifacts are. If we scroll down, we will see the Spring Web MVC artifact. It's version 4.1.6.release. This version may change depending upon when you take the course, but I would recommend always trying to use the latest release version of Spring when you are working on new development projects. So click OK, and now save your pom.xml file. And you're going to see something very neat. What Maven has done for you is Maven has pulled down the dependencies of our Spring Web MVC dependency. Within Spring Web MVC, they have used other libraries, such as there's Commons logging I see. Maven is smart enough to go out and pull down those dependencies. If it were not for Maven, we'd be pulling in a bunch of jars into our class path, and it can get hard to manage with all the versions. Let's go back, and we need to add our logging dependencies now. We're going to use SLF4J for logging. And SLF4J is a logging facade, so we also need an implementation, and our implementation is going to be log4j. We can use the SLF4J-log4j artifact, and you'll want to pick the SLF4J-log4j13 artifact. And now, since we've added our facade, we need to add the implementation of log4j. So just scroll until you see log4j. Hit OK. You'll notice that Maven has identified this artifact as a bundle. We want to change that so we actually get the jar file so we can use it within our code. With that in place, save your pom.xml file and then close it. If you are familiar with log4j, you will know that we need to provide a log4j configuration file. So in order to do that, we're going to go to the source main resources directory, hit Control-N to bring up the new file wizard, and simply type File. Scroll down to File and then click Next. Then type in log4j.properties as the name of your new file. You'll see we've created the new log4j.properties file, and within here, I'm going to paste my log4j configuration. I have borrowed this configuration from the internet because I do not know off the top of my head how to configure log4j. This is something you can go look up, and it may change depending upon your environment. You can always consult this file within your working files if you need to configure log4j. At this point, we're going to stop and take a break and pick up our work in our next lesson.